This yoga sequence could completely change how you start your days. Do you want to feel energized yet also calm and grounded at the same time? You can achieve this with this summer morning yoga. Let's get started. We'll begin today in child's pose. You have the option to bring your knees wide to the edges of your mat, big toes touch, sit bones fall back towards your heels. Or you may prefer to keep your thighs touching, arms by your sides or reaching forward, and forehead comes to rest onto the mat or a block. Whichever variation that you choose, take a few rounds of breath here to land in this space, in this moment, allowing your thoughts and what's coming up for the day to wander off, knowing you can come back to them later if you so choose to. Perhaps you notice your belly pressing into the mat or your legs as you inhale, releasing up and away, creating space as you exhale. Start to guide your breath deeper now, expanding into the belly, ribs, and chest. Can you feel a little bit more? Sigh it out. 2 more. Inhale, send your breath wide, side to side, as well as up and down. Release. Once more, fill your breath all the way to the top. And complete relaxation as you let go. Seal your lips, press into your palms firmly. Extend your arms if you haven't yet. Come up into a tabletop position. Shoulders stacked over wrists, hips over knees. Maybe you tuck your toes. Inhale, drop your belly towards the mat. Chest and gaze, look forward, cow pose. Exhale, round into the spine. Option to untuck the toes, press into the tops of your feet. Cat pose. Inhale to open front side of body. Heart moves through the gate of your arms. Exhale, round. Send the spot between your shoulder blades up towards the sky. Take a few more rounds of cat-cow here. Staying in this traditional version if it feels good. Or maybe you start to round your spine on your exhale, dropping your sit bones closer towards your heels. As you inhale, rocking back, forward. Totally optional. Do what feels best for you this morning. Sometimes that means trying both and then sticking with what works. On your next inhale, come back to a neutral spine, flat back. Send your tailbone and top of your head away from each other. Spread your fingertips really wide. Keep your knees this bent as you tuck your toes and lift your knees off the mat. Send your tailbone up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lengthen to your spine here. Continue to yearn, sit bones, tailbone up away from the top of your head. Exhale, maybe you start to strain into your legs, knowing that the goal is not to lock out your knees or lengthen your legs as much as possible, but to keep a bend. Maybe you bend one leg then the other, taking your dog for a little walk. And then come to stillness, 2 breaths, heart melts towards your thighs, ears stay in line with your biceps. Inhale, come up high onto your toes. Exhale, big bend into the knees, look forward. Take a little stroll towards the top of your mat. Land in a forward fold. Option to grab hold of your elbows, keep a generous bend in your knees. Maybe you take a gentle sway from side to side. Think of your head being as heavy as a bowling ball, helping you to open through the entire back line of your body. Release your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Gently touch fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold forward, rebend into the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades kiss together. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Head and tailbone move away, sit bones spread wide. Exhale, melt over your thighs. Tailbone draws towards the ground as you slowly begin to roll all the way up, stacking vertebra over vertebra. Arms dangle heavy. Eventually, shoulders come to stack over hips, head over shoulders. Once you get to the top, perhaps you take a few rolls of the shoulders. Palms naturally start to shine forward as you open across your chest, shoulders gently pull back in space. Tadasana, mountain pose. Notice how energized you feel here when you start to lift from your inner arches. Micro bend the knees and draw the tailbone and top of head away from each other once more. Inhale, sweep your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Bend into the knees as deep as you need. Inhale, halfway lift, light on the fingertips. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose, shoulders stack over wrists. Draw your heels back away from your shoulders and imagine you're wearing a belt buckle that you're trying to tuck up towards your chin. As you inhale, shift your shoulders past your wrists, release knees towards the mat, and elbows tuck in tight as you slowly lower front side of body down towards the mat. Untuck your toes, push firmly to the tops of your feet, so much so that your knees and thighs may lift off the ground. Then press palms into the mat. Start to peel your chest off of the ground, baby cobra. Shoulders pull back. Exhale to release, chest back to the mat. Keep the legs active. Inhale, relift, chest off the mat, baby cobra. Gaze stays just off the top of mat. Exhale to release. Inhale, maybe this time you float your hands off of the mat, baby cobra, saying hello to your low back. Exhale to release, push into palms, coming up through tabletop, back into downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Inhale high up onto your toes. Exhale, bend into the knees, gaze forward. Step forward with right foot, then left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, sit bones spread wide. Exhale, drape over your legs. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, hands join in prayer at heart center. Inhale, fingertips out and up. Exhale, lead with your heart as you dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, keep length in your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Option to take the variation that we just did for chaturanga, or adding intensity, follow along. Inhale, shifting forward, plank pose this time, shoulders come past wrists right away. Exhale, elbows in tight as you slowly lower front side of body in one line all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes, press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, palms press into the ground as heart lifts up and away. Cobra, keep a soft bend in your elbow as gaze looks forward. Exhale, release back down to the mat. Tuck your toes, pushing up through table or plank, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, high to toes. Exhale, bend into knees, look forward, step forward with left foot, then right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, pull belly button in and up to protect the low back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Keeping the legs active, lift the inner arches of feet. Inhale, arms sweep back up. Exhale, dive forward. Find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Either variation we just took for chaturanga or adding on. Inhale, shift your weight forward, plank pose, shoulders past the wrists. Exhale, elbows in tight. Untuck your toes as you dip the front of your hips towards the mat as you peel your chest open, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over your toes or curl them under, coming back into downward facing dog. We'll meet here. 2 breaths. Inhale, high to toes. Exhale, big bend in the knees as you look forward. Step forward with either leg. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, drape over your legs. Using your peace fingers, your first and second finger, hook them around your big toes. And then draw your elbows out wide side to side as you use your fingers to help pull the top of your head towards the mat. Keep your knees as bent as you like, or for added intensity, start to strain into the legs. And release your hands towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, melt forward. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a big step back with your right foot. So your right foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat and your left toes point forward. Generally, you want your left heel in line with your right arch, but however you feel most balanced here. Right away, coming into triangle, you may want to walk your back foot in slightly or have a block close by. Inhale, your arms reach up and out. Send your right hip back in space as your left fingertips reach as far forward as you can. Then start to hinge from your left hip, drawing right fingertips up towards the sky. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Push the back of your left hand into your calf or place your hand on a block. Do your best to draw your right shoulder over top of your left and tuck your left hip underneath your right. Engaging through the muscles all the way up the inner legs, hugging, pulling them up towards the groin. Finding strength here. Inhale, imagine someone's grabbing hold of your right wrist, helping pull you all the way back up to standing. Stay for the exhale once you arrive. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky, toes point slightly in, pigeon-toed. Exhale, melt forward, wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands over towards your left foot. With your right hand, grab hold of your ankle and then reach your left hand up towards the sky. Wide-legged forward fold with a twist. Continue to draw left shoulder back in space. It might feel nice to bend into left elbow and drape the forearm behind your low back. Release left hand back to the mat, walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift, press into the ground, think flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Hands come to the hips, keeping a flat back. Draw head forward as you come all the way back up to standing. Hands meet in prayer at your heart center. Turn your right toes towards the back of your mat. Left edge of left foot is parallel with the front edge. Inhale, arms reach up and then out, parallel with the mat, preparing for triangle pose. Right away, you might want to move your block towards the back. Maybe you walk your back foot in slightly, then send your left hip back in space, right fingertips reach as far forward as you can, then start to hinge. Keep length in both sides of your torso. If you're starting to collapse and shorten into your right hand side, it means that you need to lift your upper body up, maybe using a prop, maybe just the strength of your obliques here. And then rest in stillness. Imagine you're between two panes of glass, trying to become as flat as possible. At a challenge, gaze may look up to the sky. This challenges your balance. Deep inhale, coming all the way back up to center. Toes point slightly in, both arms reach towards the sky. Exhale, dive forward, wide-legged forward fold. Hands under shoulders, inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, lift your upper body, get heavy. Hands now walk over towards your right foot and ankle. Left hand grabs hold of foot or ankle. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Twist. Same option to drape the arm behind the low back. And try and use your core as much as your arm to help you find the twist in this pose. Waking up your digestion for the day, energizing you. Your next exhale, both hands to the mat. Walk your hands all the way forward. Step your right foot forward into a forward fold. Fingertips brush the mat, big toes come to touch. And then send your arms forward as your sit bones start to sit back, chair pose. Last little bit of effort here. Option for hands to come into prayer or onto your hips. Take a peek down, see if you can see your big toes. If you can't, sit a little bit farther back. Inhale to find length in the spine. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, maybe you sit a little bit deeper. Inhale, release, lengthen through the legs. Fingertips reach all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, last halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale to come forward onto your knees. Send your feet out to one side, your hips out to the other. Option to come to sit on a cushion or a block, or no prop at all. Once you get comfortable, either in a cross-legged position or maybe sitting back on your heels, using your peace fingers on your right hand, bring them to your third eye, the spot just between and above your eyebrows. With your thumb, block your right nostril and inhale through the left nostril. Hold, use your fourth finger to block left nostril, open right nostril, breathe out through right. Inhale through right nostril, block right with thumb, open left, breathe out. Inhale through left. Block left, open right, breathe out through right. Continue in this pattern, alternate nostril breathing for a few more rounds. We've taken time to energize the body, wake it up for the day. Now it's time that we ground it, balance it. Balancing left and right, masculine and feminine. A pulling up energy and a pulling down energy. Finish up your last round of breath, breathing out through the left nostril. When you've done so, hands can come to rest on your thighs, palms facing up. Allow your breathing to return to normal, in and out through both nostrils. And notice how you feel. Draw your hands into prayer at your heart space. Bow your head so your third eye meets your fingertips. Thank yourself for showing up on the mat today, for doing this act of self-love for your mind, body, and your soul. Lift your head back up. May you feel kind words. May you speak kind words. May you think kind words. Together, we bow forward and say thank you. Do you wish that you could deepen your yoga practice without paying thousands for yoga teacher training? You can. Learn how to cultivate your self-awareness so you can become the advanced yogi you dream of being without the handstands or the arm balances. Join Journey Home and feel yourself evolve on and off of the mat. Your yoga adventure is calling. Start today.